Okay, so that's all set from my end. So if you could again, if you can share that too, I will put the our research center's informations here um, in the chat. All you need to just click on the link. It should take you directly to. So some of you probably might not know our Facebook page. If you click on the link in the chat, we shall take you directly to our research center's Facebook page. Anyway, so thank you so much again for logging in today. I appreciate if you, as I said, turn on your camera. All the distinguished panelists and presenters, Mrs. Birjan Hanım, and everybody else, Dr. Rotich. Wonderful. All right, so we get going. We got Mr. Akıcı here from Ethno Sports joining us today. So, again, thanks a lot. I know it's Eastern in the Western cultures. It's a very important date for Christians, and Happy Easter, first of all, right? Happy Easter to our Christian friends. Now, at first, before we get going, we're gonna warm up with a wonderful video from our research centers prepared for you. Some of you probably remember this video from our previous events. So if you could, Mrs. Seymuk, you can play that video for us. Seymuk, could you please play the video for us? And make sure you make sure you make the sound as well. We cannot hear anything, so you need to turn on your, when you share the screen at the bottom. Seymuk, ses gelmiyor da ses açabilir misin? Oynat videoyu önce bir. Okay, that's good. Videoyu da büyük yap. Tam ekran.
Üç dalayımız ülkesi göl. Zamandım samalına cücün. Aşkı başım dalayım geçmez göl. Aktırdın adreyna buyruğan. Tavanı daha düzlerim. Tabi hakkın nizamın ıyık tut. Daha ayına dökül. Barış göl. Bıyıktıktın saltanatın ardına tabi aramdın damlan dağın çılıp bozkun ardına ay güldür bıyık buğdun cılgız çakıp açık duran dübölüktün meyip kılgan dün git evine yazıp duran.
Hocam ses kötü geliyor ama.
Yes, but they're logging in from Kyrgyzstan. Just do as much as we can.
Sen oraya gidip, adam oraya gidiyor musun? Oraya gidiyor musun? Gittin mi bir bakalım ama bakamazsın değil mi? Yok bakamazsın. Bitmiyor daha.
Simik ses tamamıyla gitti.
Oradan kapatıyor beni.
Asmandan soğuk umudum ağlardım pakaları açıkta. Uzun göçtüm kulağına.
All right. We apologize for sound and internet connections, and I hope you still enjoyed watching some of the scenes in the videos on traditional sports and game. That is from Nomad Festival. It's like a Nomad Olympics that takes place every other 2 years or so.
Excuse me Adem.
Yes.
Senin mailine düştü video. İstersen oradan biraz, bu hiç iyi olmadı da onun için diyorum.
Yok gerek yok
Şu
hocam.
anda düştü.
Gerek yok hocam. Güzeldi, tamam, önemli değil. So we're gonna go on as our plan. So let me give you a little bit of information about our panels. And I know you already know the purpose of the panels. The panel is, the topic of the panel is the impact of traditional sports and game on global peace and development during and after COVID-19. We will have two different sessions after our distinguished guest president's speech. We will have the two different sessions. Each session will focus on specific topics, and I share these with you. The panel is to recognize the International Day of Sports, which was recognized by the United Nations in order to support the 2030 Sustainable Development Goal. We're just recognizing this International Day of Sports through TSG, Traditional Sports and Game. For this panel, we invited several distinguished panelists. So they are with us today, and they're going to share their feelings about the TSGs and overall perspectives. And before going into our panel sessions, we would like to at first do some, opening speech we're going to have. At first, I would like to, by the way, before doing so, I want to mention and our sponsors and our collaborating institutions for this panel: Light Millennium from New York, and World Ethno Sports Confederation from Turkey, National Institute of Physical Education in Catalonia, Spain, North Carolina Central University, USA, and Istanbul Ayvansaray University from Turkey. Institute for Sports and Education Development from Poland, a Traditional Sports and Game Confederation from USA, Eastern Mediterranean University from Cyprus. We appreciate you collaborating on this special topic with us today. At first, now I'm going to turn the microphone to Bowie State University President, Dr. Brooks. She is with us today, and we would like to thank you for hosting this event. And now, your turn, Dr. Brooks. Thanks very much for joining us today.
It is my pleasure. It's my honor. Thank you, Dr. Kaya. I know what this is like to organize such an event, bringing so many people together from around the world. I want to applaud you for your due diligence, your leadership, your persistence. You know, at Bowie State University, our mascots are the Bulldogs, and you truly exemplify the persistence and determination of the Bulldog spirit. So thank you for what you continue to do in spite of the ongoing challenges we have around the world. It is indeed my honor, my privilege to greet you this morning or this afternoon, wherever it might, whatever time it might be in your time zone. And happy Easter to those who are observing today's holiday. Happy Easter. Best wishes to you and yours during this holiday season. And it is indeed my honor to welcome you on behalf of Bowie State University to the International Day of Sport for Development and Peace Conference. I am Aminta Bro, the 10th president at Bowie State University in Bowie, Maryland in the United States. And we are honored to serve as the host institution for this global occasion. And thank you again, Dr. Kaya, for your leadership and efforts in support of today's event, but also for what you do throughout the year with your research, your teaching in support of our students at Bowie State University. We truly thank you for everything that you're doing. And welcome to our panelists for today's program. I want to extend a special welcome and appreciation to the International Sports and Games Research Development Center, along with our international guests, including President Ceylan, President Turkmen, Professor Hawkinen. Welcome to you all. You know, it has been 8 years since the United States General Assembly first proclaimed April 6th as the International Day of Sport for Development and Peace. But the world has changed substantially since then, as we all know. With the advent of COVID-19, nations around the world have had to re-examine sport and games at all levels. The lack of face-to-face contact has taken a toll on aspects of our lives, and the impact has been pronounced as we have missed that element of us that helps to bring meaning and tradition and the context for how we live our lives. In a time when division and economic insecurity is a growing concern around the world, sport remain a major force of driving societal change. And we know that sport and traditional games can foster peace and build relationships while dispelling stereotypes, bigotry, and discrimination. The need for maintaining traditions and building a more inclusive society has become more important than ever, as we as a global society must reevaluate what it means to live in a global sustainable society. And here in the United States, institutions in higher education have always had a close relationship with sport and games. Our athletic offerings represent more than a chance to claim victory over an opposing university. They are a holistic way for our students to further develop their emotional and social health and contribute to a greater sense of community. And most recently, Bowie State University had the opportunity to host our own virtual athletic conference, and it was a wonderful event, although it was quite different as we're experiencing here today. Yes, we're all in these virtual rooms, but I do hold out hope that it won't be long from now when I will be able to greet you in person, face to face, on our beautiful campus in Bowie, Maryland, so you can see firsthand the more than 330 acres of campus. For right now, you have my virtual background behind me, and that I hope will suffice. But I look forward to a brighter day when we can see each other face to face. But yet, like our school mascots, as I said at the opening of my remarks, our mascots are the Bulldogs. And what that means is we are persistent and we press on to keep our educational and sport communities united during these times of adversity. Bowie State University has known its own time of adversity in our history as the first historically Black college and university in the state of Maryland, founded just as slavery was ending in the United States. We were founded in 1865. We are a public university today, and we press on for the public good. It has been a part of our history and culture to carry on, to not give up in the face of adversity. And it is because of that history and commitment that we have realized great success for our students. Today, we deliver over 23 undergraduate programs and over 35 graduate and certificate programs. We enroll over 6,200 students. And in spite of the pandemic, we delivered education this year. It was different. We were virtual, some was in person, but we have a saying, still we rise. We rise to the occasion and we meet our goals. Likewise, it is my hope, and I encourage each of us to stay committed to overcoming the obstacles in our lives, society, and the world to do what we can to bring us to a better time. Our university has enjoyed fostering partnerships worldwide with global learning opportunities in many nations, including Cuba, Germany, South Africa, and China, and we hope to expand our footprint around the world. Understanding the traditions in each distinct culture is paramount to the student educational experience in the way that we see education, how we deliver education at Bowie State University. Such experiences can clearly be enhanced through the power of sport in its tenets of inclusion, teamwork, perseverance, extolled by the International Day of Sport for Development and Peace. Sport offers a universal language shared throughout all cultures and people, grounded in the virtues of cooperation and respect. This shared language, both spoken and unspoken, is an important part of preserving tradition and identity for new generations. As we begin to emerge from this pandemic, let us examine how to strengthen this universal language and promote traditional sport and games to support communities and create stronger bonds between individuals, our countries, our nation, and our global society. The panel we host today will undoubtedly shed light on the impact of COVID-19 and what it has had on sport as a development tool for aspects like physical and mental health, inclusivity, and cultural traditions. Understanding the intersection of sport and societal change will help all of us to build a greater foundation for respecting the history and tradition of cultures worldwide. So again, I want to thank you on behalf of the entire Bowie State University campus community for you being here today. I wish you all the best. I know you'll have great conversations. To my fellow panelists, to all of our guests, welcome and enjoy today's event. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Brooks, for your wonderful speech and your invitation. It is our dreams and plan to be on the campus next time when this such event happens. We cannot wait this pandemic to pass through, hopefully. And now I want to pass the microphone to our organizing university from Manas University, President of Alparslan Ceylan, President of Manas University, Professor Alparslan Ceylan. He's going to address his speech now. Dr. Ceylan, welcome.
Evet, welcome. Öncelikle Geleneksel Sporlar ve Oyunlar Araştırma ve Geliştirme Merkezimizin düzenlemiş olduğu bu etkinlikte birlikte olmaktan dolayı mutlu olduğumu ifade etmek isterim. Türk şairlerinden Sezai Karakoç'un çok güzel, anlamlı bir sözü var. Diyor ki, aslında yeni olmak eskinin sırrını bulmaktır. Çünkü o eski bir nevi ölümsüzlüğü kazanmıştır. Geleneksel sporlar bağlamında baktığımız zaman aslında geleneksel sporlar ve kültürün kesişme noktasını bize göstermektedir. Yani geleneksel sporlar yapıldığında aynı zamanda kültürlerin de yaşantısının bir göstergesidir. Şunu rahatlıkla ifade etmek mümkündür ki, kültür antropolojik çalışmaları kültürsüz milletlerin olmadığını her topluluğun ve milletin kendine has bir kültürünün varlığından söz etmemizin doğru olacağını ifade eder. Çünkü bazı bilim adamları özellikle 17. ve 18. yüzyıllarda çeşitli milletler, yani kültürlü milletler ve kültürsüz milletler olarak tanımlamıştır. Aslında günümüzde görüyoruz ki her milletin, her topluluğun kendine has kültürleri vardır. Aslında yapılan kültürler ve küreselleşme bu kültürlerin bir anlamda yok olmasının da önünü açmaktadır. Geleneksel sporlar milletlerin kültürlerinin yaşanmasının da bir göstergesi olarak karşımıza çıkmaktadır. Dolayısıyla sadece bir sportif oyun olarak görmek geleneksel sporları yanlış olacağı kanaatindeyim. Aynı zamanda fiziki oyunlar olduğu gibi bunlar fikri, ahlaki bakımdan da son derece kıymetli göstergelerdir. Milletlerin fikirlerini ve görüşlerini ortaya koyduğu gibi DNA'larını da, kodlarını da ortaya koyan geleneksel sporlardır. Dolayısıyla geleneksel sporlarda son derece önemli çalışmalar yapmak zorundayız. Bugün Kırgızistan'da Tanrı Dağları'nın eteğinden sizlere sesleniyoruz. Bu Tanrı Dağları'nın eteğinin yiğit evlatlarından biri Cengiz Aymatov'dur. Dünya edebiyatında 150 dile çevrilen eserleriyle tanıdığımız önemli bir bilim adamıdır. Aynı zamanda edebiyatçıdır. Onun ifadesiyle milletlerin mankutlaşması, yani parantez içerisinde kimliklerini kaybetmemesi için özüne ve kültürlerine sahip olması gerekmektedir. Gerçekten de Cengiz Aymatov'un ifade ettiği gibi kültürlerine toplumların sahip olabilmesi için mutlaka ve mutlaka geleneksel sporlarına da sahip olmaları gerekir. Bugün buradan şu müjdeyi size verebilirim ki önümüzdeki yıl bu merkezimiz bir enstitüye dönüşüyor. Enstitü olarak daha çok hizmet vermek, genç bilim adamlarının da yetiştireceği bir merkez olma özelliği taşıyacaktır. Bugüne kadarki çalışmalarda Mehmet Türkmen hocamızın önemli katkıları olmuştur. Bundan sonra da bu katkıların devamını ümit etmekteyiz. Başta değerli meslektaşım Bovi Üniversitesi Rektörü Amin Taburo ve Birleşmiş Milletler görevlisi Bircan Ünver hanımefendi başta olmak üzere bu panele katkı sağlayan herkese teşekkürlerimi arz ediyor ve Tanrı Dağları'ndan hepinizi selamlıyorum.
Biz teşekkür ederiz hocam değerli konuşmalarınız için. Thank you so much for your wonderful speech, and that's great. So you're gonna have a research institute, not center anymore. So we talk more about that soon. Teşekkürler hocam, çok teşekkürler. Now I want to thank you, Dr. Ceylan, for his wonderful speech, and I want to turn the microphone to Aykut Hocanen. He's the president of Eastern Mediterranean University from Cyprus, and he's going to deliver his speech. Dr. Hocanen, it's yours.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to also thank everyone for inviting me to this conference panel, which is an international one. I also appreciate the fact that some difficulties may arise to get together all the participants from different parts of the world. So it's a great pleasure and honor for me to have the opportunity to talk to you from Eastern Mediterranean University here in Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, and address you at this meaningful event focusing on the impact of traditional sports and games on global peace. I believe this is important significance for all of us, as it is organized on the occasion of 6 April, International Day of Sport for Development and Peace. Sports is a common ground for all of us, as it plays an important role in uniting individuals, communities, nations, in short, the entire world. Upon declaring 6 April as the International Day of Sport for Development and Peace, the United Nations General Assembly highlighted the following, and I quote, "Sport has the power to change the world. It is a fundamental right, a powerful tool to strengthen social ties and promote sustainable development and peace, as well as solidarity and respect. Through our unique individual skills and collective power, we can come together and share creative ways to improve our health and well-being through sport and physical activity, even from the confines of our own homes." The importance paid and support provided by the Eastern Mediterranean University towards social life and sport has been increasing consistently for more than 25 years. Eastern Mediterranean University was founded as a higher technological institute in Cyprus in 1979 and later became a university in 86. We currently have 16,000 students, 40% of which are from Turkey, 40% from international countries, and 20% from North Cyprus. Being aware of the importance of sports in human life and acting in line with this awareness, our university plays an active role in the development and participation in traditional and local sport games, both throughout the world and within the geography we live in. Encouraging participation in universal sports organizations, as well as other sports organizations, both within our university and in Turkey and the world, our university has achieved great success in the field of sports and has become a major name amongst the world universities in this respect. Attaching great importance to participation in sports organizations recognized by the International Olympic Committee, our university has not hesitated to participate in such competitions at every possible opportunity. With a strong and large army of sports players consisting of more than 400 athletes in 22 different branches, EMU provides the necessary importance and support to sport and sports players. We also feel the pride of being the institution within our region with the highest participation in the sports organization of the Turkish University Sports Federation and Northern Cyprus University Sports Federation. I would like to again thank you for organizing this event and bringing the importance of traditional sports in light and getting together all the participants from all around the world. I wish you success, and I'm sure that the panelists will come up with new ideas which will shed light to new approaches to traditional sports and the development of sports all around the world. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hocanen, for your nice wishes and speeches. Thank you so much. It's our honor to have you here. So thank you so much. Now, I'd like to turn the microphone to Director of Traditional Sports and Game Research and Application Center, Dr. Turkmen. He's gonna have a few words, I'm sure, for us. So, Dr. Turkmen.
Okay. Dear Professor Eminta Brax, President of Bowie State University, dear Professor Alparslan Ceylan of Manas University, dear Professor Aykut Hocanen, President of Cyprus Eastern Mediterranean University, I offer my respect to you for honoring our panel and all the participants. Good day to those who attended the panel from the West. Good evening to those who attended the panel from the East. You are all welcome. Hadi bu kadar konuşmaya geçeyim.
Tamam.
Ama sen de benim notlarım. Sen şey yap, İngilizce söyle, ben yazayım.
Tamam hocam, sen devam et.
Tamam.
So Dr. Turkmen, thank you very much for your. So I'm gonna, like, actually I prepared, I'm gonna present his speech a little bit. Actually, I received earlier. So So I've been involved with the doctor. I've been working with Dr. Turkmen for a long time. So with the traditional research centers, and I like the. Let
Yes,
me
sir.
get my presentations up here first.
Yes, it is okay.
Yeah. So hold on, please. I'm gonna share my screen.
Excuse me, 1 minute. And all the participants, thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Dr. Turkmen. As some of you know, I'd like to give you a little bit heads up. Information about our research centers. Dr. Turkmen direct. This research centers has been around in the last 5-6 years, especially last several years has been very active in the scientific field of traditional sports and game. And just want to give you a little bit of history information for our research centers. It was recommended back in 2016 at the International Traditional Sports and Game in Turkish people, which was held right after Second World Nomad Games in 2016. And then officially the center is established back in 2017 by the decision of the Manas University Senate. And later on, Dr. Turkmen was assigned to be the head of the center in October 2017. Since then, Dr. Turkmen and his research center has been very proactive, very active in many, many fields. And so, as Dr. Ceylan mentioned, the research center became research institute. Now that means, going forward, the center is going to accept master's students and graduate students, even undergrads, to promote the research in traditional sports and game, we are so excited about this opportunity. We want to thank you, Dr. Ceylan and the Manas University for making this happen. So the research center, in the last 40 years or so, the center completed 2 research projects, and one of the research project has led to 34 peer-reviewed articles. This is fantastic, phenomenal, research project that took place about almost 3 years. And at the end, the outcome was so fantastic. The center were able to produce 34 peer-reviewed articles. And the center also published over 6 peer-reviewed articles and 18 books chapters and 5 books. And there are a lot more, but the recent publication, the centers and director of centers, Mehmet Türkmen, and myself, Adem Kaya, we recently published a book. Dr. Brox, you probably remember the panel discussion. Later on, we expanded this and then turned this into publication, published it by one of the well-known publishers in the United States. So we're so happy about the outcome of our panels. And so this concludes our first short sessions of opening. And we're gonna give everybody 5 minutes or so break. Okay, and then we're gonna go into our panel sessions, starting session 1. Okay, and I wanna first again thank you, Dr. Brooks and Dr. Ceylan and Dr. Kocanen for logging in today and honoring us, sharing, giving us your support. Thank you so much attending.
You're very welcome. Have a great day. Take care.
Yes, have a great day. Bye. So. Yeah, please relax a little bit, and then we get back here. Yeah, 5 minutes after. From our side, it's 50, and according to schedule, we're supposed to start we're 10 minutes. We started late, a little bit, 10 minutes, but so we just stay with our that plan. So give yourself 5 minute break. You can get up here and then come back here and then start the panel sessions. Okay. You can turn off your cameras and microphone while you're away.
Burada hiç boş duran yok. Geleneksel sporlar yapılmaya devam ediyor Adem.
Öyle mi hocam? Ha.
Hiç durma yok.
Kırsal bölgelerde.
Ufak çocuklar bile iş yapıyor evde. Böyle dışarıda.
He,
Sımık sana şimdi birkaç tane şey gönderiyor. Video.
he.
Geleneksel sporlarla ilgili.
Sımık onunla ilgili bir sunum yapsın işte. Burada. Varsa
Burada mı?
korona sürecinde nasıl oluyor? Videolar. Okay, if your microphone is on, probably you hear me, right? So you can come back. Dr. Pere, it's so good to see you.
Nice to meet you,
Yes,
Dr.
yeah,
Alankaya. Nice to meet
yeah.
you.
So good to see you. Thank you for logging in. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for this invitation. It's a very special invitation. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you. How's everything in Spain?
We are, well, more or less in the same situation that all of you, trying to do our best in
Yes.
order to look for some better conditions, and if only in a near future we can live normal life.
Yes, yeah, we cannot wait to see slowly but surely. Hopefully, this vaccination and everything will ease the conditions everywhere. So. Dr. Rotush, so good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Dr. La Vega, Professor Perrin.
Yeah.
Hello.
I don't say his name right. I gotta say it right.
Nice to see you again.
We have new friends here today.
Yes.
Dr. Fabio Rose Cardias from Brazil, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken.
Good. Good to see you.
Nice
Good
to
to see everybody.
Peri La Vega again.
Yes.
Josefa Seber, work and meet you all. It's a new contact to me to learn more about sports and games, traditional sports and games.
Yeah.
I'm in Brazil in the Amazon area. I work with
Wow.
indigenous games. Nice
Yeah.
to meet you all.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Cardias, for logging in today. We appreciate it. We give you some time to introduce yourself to traditional sports and games community. You probably know most of them, but I'm sure you see some new faces here, especially within our network of traditional sports and game research centers in Manas University under the leadership of Dr. Turkmen. So you introduce yourself, you get to meet some of them at the end of the panels as we go through. Appreciate your patience. And Dr. Kuznetsova, how are you? Your microphone is off. Kuznetsova, Dr. Kuznetsova, Nadia.
I'm here.
Yes, how are you? How are you today?
Yes, everything is okay.
Okay.
Good to see you. Thank you for logging in. Okay, we start shortly. So we're supposed to have Dr. La Vega here, Dr. Rotic here, Mr. Bircan Ünver here. We are missing two panelists, like from Dr. Kamaldeen from Malaysia. I know, I understand it's like, I don't even know what time it is in Malaysia, maybe like a 1 or 2 a.m., maybe 3 a.m. So I do understand the challenges, but we communicated, she said she will try, but we understand her situation. So, and also Kuznetsova here, that's good. So for the first sessions, and we have the second sessions later on. So we'll see. I mean, we all know each other, right? I mean, pretty much, we have some new faces here. Probably you might not know the Mrs. Ünver from Light Millennium. She is the backbone of this panel today, as bringing the SDG concepts and the connecting our panel's goals and missions to the United Nations missions and goal. She'll talk more on that. So, and Dr. Rotic, she's gonna monitor. I'm sorry, she's gonna moderate first sessions.
Sure.
Dr. Rotic, she's gonna moderate first sessions, and then I'll do the second sessions for research presentations. Okay.
Sure.
Sounds good, everybody?
Yep.
Good?
Sounds good.
Okay. Dr. Rotic, it's all yours now.
Okay. So good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are. This is Dr. Rotic. I am here in North Carolina Central University, that is in Durham, North Carolina. So I do welcome all of you to the first session. And in this session, we have, again, our topic is global challenges, impact and recovery through traditional sports and games during and after COVID. And I don't know, for most of you, we've not really been able to do a lot during COVID, but it'll be interesting to hear what you all are doing during COVID and after the COVID pandemic. Our panelists, we have we have Professor Pere Lavaga. I know I'm not saying it right, but one day I'll get it right. The ENEF and President of European Association of TCSG. So you are welcome, panelists, to present that. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself extensively, and then you can go ahead and present.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, firstly, I would like to thank the organizers of this event for inviting me to share this challenge, this common challenge, and to feel that we are so far as well as so near. So I think that these sort of events are very, very important in order to know that we feel and we talk the same language. So I'm professor at the National Institute of Physical Education in Catalonia, Spain. We have two centers. I'm professor in the field of traditional games, sports. I fall in love working as a networking, and for this reason, I'm representing at the same time the European Association of Traditional Games and Sports with almost 80 members, but with very, very great variety of members, museums, cultural associations, sporting federations, faculties. I think that this is a core thing, just to do our best to work together, like here. So after giving you this short presentation, I would like to focus the attention today on two things that are very important at this moment, currently, with these difficulties caused by the pandemic situation of COVID. So I would like to highlight the attention on two fundamental learning provided by TAG. That is that almost, perhaps they are some not always very visible. We should take into account that when people are playing at TAG, they are learning to dialogue in a democratic way. And they are learning to share a very great ludodiversity of interpersonal relationships. I would like to show you in a very clear way both fundamental learnings. So when people decide to play together a game, they start an agreement of rules. That is, they start to dialogue in a democratic way. In our activities, there is no need to quantify some material goods. There you can see some very easy things, but they are very deep, very clear. They are sharing an agreement. They are sharing some feelings. They are telling us that they want to participate at the same level, sharing great social values. But to understand what is happening there, we must look at the socio-cultural and local conditions, because there is where we can identify the meaning And there we can better understanding what these activities mean. And then we identify a very clear message. Through TAG from around the world, we start to think globally in order to act locally. And this is very, very important learning currently. There, TAG are a mirror of local culture connected with other great cultural manifestations, food, music, dancing, relationship, festival, championships. All together are different dimensions of the same phenomenon. We should consider that when we talk about TAG, the originality of our activities is that we are using a body language, an intangible heritage, very different if we compare with other material cultural heritage. For instance, Sagrada Familia, where the stones are there as a tangible heritage. Look at this picture. It seems that all together are sharing the rules because they are depositories of things of the identity of the local culture. And it seems that all the people are connected by an invisible string that they are allowing all the people to share and to speak the same language. One core learning that I show some 2 years ago in one secretary administrative of the European Association in Spain was there as this example. We had a meeting of our board of our council, board of directors, and then one group of refugees from Syria, they arrived in a very sad way. And one colleague of our council, they started to talk a language with these people using TAG. As you can see there, they started to be connected, to talk the same language, where people started to listen to some histories, to some rules, and to share the agreement of what they were learning. Then, as we are connected in an effective way, people, when we talk about these activities, it's impossible that we feel the temptation to talk, to explain things, to share our experiences. This is very important nowadays, to allow people to talk and to explain us what it happened when we are playing, when we are sharing these activities. And then some social values, key values as health, social health, sustainability, gender equality is there. You can see that there are different sorts of people with different ages, but all of them, they are feeling in a very deep way, an easy way, emotions. There, people can be surprised with small things, but they are at the same time very deep things, and we are promoting well-being, a very core learning for nowadays. And what it happens there, they are sharing a dialogue, a pacific, a democratic dialogue, playing together. Perhaps they are not able to speak the other language, but they speak the same language playing. It's very, very important to know that all of them, they are connected. They are sharing social values in action. If we want to learn to swim, we need to go, for instance, to a swimming pool and then to try to do it. If we want to share social values, we can play together. And then, instead of inventing what they are, we are putting in practice all of them. And they didn't meet each other some minutes ago, but now the pictures are showing that something else has happened. An emotional community has born. This is a very important lesson, because never mind where we are, because through playing TAG, we can share, for instance, 3 core actions: learning the rules, agreeing the rules, and putting in practice the rules. As you can see in this image that we observed and we played in Tunisia some years ago. Oh, here, students from the north of Spain, they are in a school of Skittles, and then the students from primary school, from different localities of that territory, they learn rules, they agree some ways of play those rules, and finally, they put in practice. A second message that I would like to share with you is that the worldwide COVID pandemic situation has shown us around the world that the interpersonal relationships are very, very important for our society because we are social humans, social beings. And what happened with THG? That they invite us to share a wonderful, great ludodiversity of social relationships. When we see these pictures, we are not just seeing that people are playing, they are also sharing relationships. From the motor action science, we could identify two families, two domains of THG, depending on the sort of relationships that players can share. The psychomotor games and the sociomotor games. In the first one, the psychomotor games, people play without motor interacting with other players. Each player must give an answer to the rules, and all the players try to do their best in order to show that they are able to do things, although alone. And here we can identify a very great variety of games. On the second sort of families, the sociomotor traditional games sports, players can share different sorts of cooperation or opposition. As you can see on the left, there are two examples where people are cooperating each other. In the middle, they are opposition environments where they are doing their best to fight against the other, but the other is not an enemy. It's just a person that is testing us, is checking which are our skills. And on the right, you can see different people that they are playing together. On the top, for instance, somebody could think that it's not a very important action or game, but there what is happening? One person in the middle is trying to catch or to touch another person. If this person is caught, then they will permute, they will change the roles. What happens here? All the people that they are in the circle, they are cooperating like a team, and the opponent is in the middle. But in a few minutes, these people, the person who is in the middle will be another. So then you can see that during a game, they are changing the sort of relationships. And we have got scientific evidences that through this sort of relationships, we can produce great benefits, great effects for the participants. Never mind where we focus the attention. We are able to identify a great ludodiversity of rules, of conditions, of relationships. We have followed and we share some researchers in a cross-cultural way. And for instance, we have compared different countries, the THG from different countries and continents. And what we can see here, that in all the areas we have done this research, we see that the sociomotor, the collective games where people share cooperative or opposition learning, relationships, they are more present than games where we are playing alone. A core message is there. We like to share relationships where we are playing. So nowadays, when we are teaching lessons with our university students, we are encouraging them when they are keeping in touch with other groups to promote in a very easy way, for instance, in a familiar environment with all the members of one family, to play some sociomotor games with this idea. Agreeing the rules, putting in practice the rules, and sharing this sort of relationships that they are easy, but they are a very deep way of learning what THG provides us in this situation, in this difficult situation. So these are the two messages that I would like to share with you in these 10 minutes that I have taken profit of this event. And I would like to thank you again and congratulate you for this colloque, for this international online meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor. That was a very, very informative presentation. We have learned so much from your discussion, amazing points and discussions. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give up my slot because of time. So this has been very interesting because a lot of the things that you discussed, Adim and I have done a lot of similar things where the key points I'm taking is that the communication, the connectedness, bringing people together, you know, making up rules. It's funny because I remember playing those games when I was a little child in Kenya, where we come together with kids from the village and we just come together, the rules, and we implement the rules and we follow the rules. It's just fun. You know, children, you don't really need to know each other, but it's a great way to bring people together. We're skills, we're building health. So thank you so much for your presentation. Really appreciate that. We're going to go to the second panel. Like I said, I'm going to give up my slot because you've covered a lot of the same things where we use sports to teach life skills, to teach resiliency. And one other thing that I used that was very interesting was I used Porter Voice, where I had the immigrant children and youth take pictures and say, what are you doing there because of the language barrier? So I said, take pictures of sports and events that you engage in. So they took a lot of pictures and then we sat down and talked about those pictures. So that was a very rich way of doing things together. So I really appreciate that very informative session. Our next panelist is panelist number 3, Bacon, founder and president of the Light Millennium University. Yes, okay, good. I'm sorry. Yes, there you guys, see you. So, Professor, how do you say your name? Say it, help me to say it right. Okay, you're muted, you're muted. You're muted.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Bircan Unver. I am not professor, but I am founder and president of the Light Millennium Organization. And actually, I'd like to clarify one important information because I don't want to give any misinterpretation, which is my organization has been associated with the United Nations Department of Global Communications since 2005, and we are active and with the good standing, which means we need to provide every year or every other year's activity report. So that keeps us in good standing. And also, as this event, the events are supporting the UN programs. The activity report, we reflect back to the UN, supports the programs that are supporting the UN. And I am also head representative of my organization to the United Nations, to the Department of Global Communications. Why I felt to explain this? Because president of Manas University, he referred that I am representing the United Nations. United Nations is a huge body and completely different structures and all that. We are not a member state, or we are not working for the UN, but with the UN. So
okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Welcome. Sure. Introduce yourself and share with us a great presentation that you have prepared for us.
Thank you. I will actually little bit explain this. Sure. And let me see the slides. Yes. And then start. Where does it start? Yes, good. Okay. As I said, I am a president, founder, and the head representative of the Light Millennium, and my name is Bircan, and I'm Turkish native, and I also have US citizenship. And before diving in my presentation, I'd like to thank very much to Professor Adem, Assistant Professor to Adem Kaya. His interest to link what he's been doing for over 2 decades with the United Nations have brought in me. I have to also clarify one more thing. I am not specifically in a sport field. Unfortunately, I don't do any traditional sports or any sport, just like walking and swimming when I get a chance for the season. But what we've been doing is through the Light Millennium programs, we are trying to promote, as for instance, April 6th, we are sporting and commemorating today, was announced as also President of Bova University with the excellent speech, welcoming remarks, underlined beautifully that was accepted in 2013. So actually it is very, very new UN Day. But later on, it was interconnected, linked with the Sustainable Development Goals. So then it is, yes, economic, it is personal development, it is health, it is social. As a professor of the European traditional sport beautifully explained and provided different images, it covers all. It has been discussed and mentioned so far. So my role is here today, really what it has been presenting here, all are related with the United Nations, not only with the sports days, but other UN days as well. So a little bit about my organization. It started from a personal essay at my 40th anniversary, 40th birthday, and that lay out my organization. I'm against the war. Who supports the war? I don't know why they support, but the question is like, if the darkness, the human energy, that was my, never find full response because still we are not in a enlightened days or era in our lives, especially with COVID, everything become difficult. And also as a vision, we need to get out this crate in terms of the Earth supposed to link with other planets. Our logo sometimes perceived as strange, but 500 years ago, we weren't able to travel in between Turkey and US or another country. So it will happen. So to kind of envision the future, connect humanity with the future generations. That's kind of how it started. And officially formed in 2001 and introduced 1999. We are a non-religious, non-political, not-for-profit, and independent. It used to be multimedia and culture organization, and our 2001 certificate of incorporation amended and broadened to Light Millennium Charitable Global Human Advancement Organization, because human advancement is kind of missing most of the development agenda or politic agenda. But I will get to the UN Sustainable Development Goals have some 6-7 goals directly targeted to contribute, serve to human advancement. So we invite the citizen of the world to submit appropriate artistic medium ideas. As you mentioned here, many distinguished speakers mentioned, as the traditional supports ideas, to bring the ideas, cultures present by whomever. So we are not an academy, but kind of informal to connect people, present them through ideas, cultures, traditions. But for instance, again, we are a secular organization. Anyone can contribute any ideas from any religious, any cultures, but not promoting one particular religion. So it embraces all, but we are volunteer based. So our vision is big, but it's a seed. So as I mentioned, we moved to broaden our mission. So we dream to have open global schools, all that, we'll see. That we have to set out the vision to start somewhere. So 2000 Development Agenda, Sustainable Development Goals, 7 Sustainable Development Goals. Just I'm certain you all know, but just to go over, no poverty, no hunger, good health. We are in a COVID era. Quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation. And this is also a very crucial one. Anything we consider, we organize on behalf of Light Millennium on March 21st in connection with the SDG 6. And SDG 7 is renewable energy. SDG 8 is strong, good and economic development. And somewhat my slide is not readable well. And 9 is infrastructure, 10 is reducing inequalities, 11 is sustainable cities, 12 is responsible consumption, 13 is climate action, 14 is life on below the water, and 15 is life on land, and 16 is peace and justice, and 17 is this is really targeting mainly the member states to collaborate, partner within the member states towards achieving each and all goals because they are so interconnected. So for instance, when we look at human advancement, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and good and decent works, cities and reducing inequalities, responsible consumption, it's very much all goes 16. So all are interconnected, and there is this repeatedly stated at the UN, one goal cannot be achieved. Everything is connected. If one achieved, then if one is going to achieve, that means other will be achieved too. So there won't be one single outstanding accomplishment by 2030, at least a few interconnected one will be achieved. So as President of Bowie University stated, so I don't want to repeat it again, just honor the date and then the program from the Support for Peace and Development. It is based on the resolution, UN General Assembly Resolution 67 to 296. And due its vast reach, unparalleled popularity, and in foundation of positive values, sport is ideally positioned to contribute towards the United Nations objectives for development and peace. To raise awareness of this potential, 6 April was declared as the International Day of Support for Development and Peace by the UN General Assembly. So I'm sorry. Okay. So the adoption of this day signifies the increasing recognition by the UN of the positive influence that sport can have on the advancement of human rights and social and economic development. Again, professor of European tradition sport really lay out with this beautiful examples. So it's this is the statement of that. So why I'm taking this, UN has a symbol for this special day. The symbol is white cards for peace. So when you get a chance, like maybe grab a paper at the end of the session, we can hold up and say white cards for peace. So that's the symbol of the UN for this particular day. And we also use this motto. And now, somewhat I'm not able to move. What happened? Okay. Sport and physical activity for better and recover. I can't even see my slides fully, but this is also only together. Again, professor of the European Tradition Center really mentioned very well, excellent on a play together, only together. And this is the vision by the UN after COVID, but they also mentioning the vaccine that play together again. So that's the hashtag for the April 6th. And other UN promotes sports and sustainable development goals and related with the April 6th. International Day of Living Together in Peace, World Bicycle Day, International Day of Yoga, International Day of Peace, International Day for the Eradication of Poverty, International Human Solidarity Day. Also related, 20th of March, World Happiness Day. And April 7 is actually World Health Day, which is the birthday of World Health Organization, and which is also one of the UN major institute body, and that's also, as we all know, leading the COVID pandemic. And July 15, World Youth Sickles Day. I haven't seen any correlation, interconnection with the traditional sport and World Youth Skills Day, but I have sensed, and then based on the very general knowledge or observations, that there is a correlation. Just the idea came out to my mind to add in here. And August 12th is International Youth Day. And this is one of the major youth day at the UN. All students from high school, university, and of course not 2020 and not so far in this year. It's one of the major events, and even the demand is too high. They started to do it twice a year. One is on August 12th and the other one is January. So those are the UN days in connection. These then also it can be observed linking one of those along with one of the sustainable development goals, which we did for the SDG 3 for global well-being for this particular program. And this is one of the programs we organize. I produce the World Tour on a Bicycle for Non-Violence. And he started Nayan Yuvetkar for the promoting Gandhi's message. And he's literally on the bicycle touring the world. And we met with them in New York, October 2019, and he went to Brazil, Latin America, and I think also North Africa. So he's gonna complete, I suppose, next October. So this is one of the interesting way and simple way, just with bicycle promoting the peace and non-violence. And I'd like to give you a general, very general overview. But if any of you like to get more information, I'll be happy to provide you. As I mentioned, my organization is associated with the United Nations Department of Global Communications. Actually, its formal name was Department of Public Information. It was started from 1948. Since 1948, it has become one of the 3 or 4 PRs of the United Nations in terms of non-governmental organization, and this department represents and organizes annual UN NGO conferences. Now it becomes UN civil society conferences. And this there are 2 major doors to enter to the UN. Not only civil societies. Here, my role is here to give you an idea to consider. Most have a little bit difficulty to comprehend in terms of academia as an NGO. However, UN Global Communications, Department of Global Communications actually encourages and has a status. All academic institutions, education institutions can apply as an NGO with the associated with the Department of Global Communications. For instance, 2019 UN NGO conference, UN Civil Society conference, held it in Salt Lake City, Utah, and mayor of the city, along with University of Utah, were hosted. So they were also associated with the Department of Global Communications. Again, also 2016, we had the conference in South Korea, and also of course the government and university. I can't recall the exact name, but one of the major university was host institute for the conference. So universities are encouraged partner, and what will provide you is actually two ways. One is they will expect to link your programs, activities, academic program or cultural or any relevant programs with the UN programs, and it will reflect back to the UN. Also, it will open up windows and new horizon to your students and or academic staff, so they can also engage their research more or incorporate with the UN resources and based on the subject they are working. So, and this is the second one is the UN ECOSOC Economic and Social Council. They require, I will focus with the, again, Department of Global Communications, because it opens to the universities and all the NGOs, and this is one of the most dynamic, and also to reflect to the programs to public, to reach, expand the global reach out through the UN programs. What it gains, it will provide you, once you apply and once your association is granted, it will provide you, for instance, we talk about here as the host university, Bowie University, and the organized university is the Manas. So for instance, if you like to apply, you will apply, and then once you complete the whole process, once it is approved, then they will ask to appoint 6, including always head or the president or rector is the head of that institution. So remaining 5 and 2 should be young youth. So it will provide up to 6 delegates to present your university, your support teams, your organizations, your foundations at the UN on an annual basis. So that's one. And then the second is also, it's gonna allow to submit proposals as similar to this to the UN NGO conferences. It won't provide monetary support, but it will create a great international connection and cooperation and collaborations. So ECOSOC is slightly different. I won't get that, but if anyone is interested in, I can provide more information. These two only provides annual grant pass, and these two provides delegation and also requires activity report. It changes. One of them is every 3 years, the other one is biannual. And there are other, for instance, UN academic impact. It's completely different. For instance, when you apply for the UN academic impact, and then when you complete their processes, and then you get, once it's accepted, then you are listing in the UN academic impact list as the recognized universities. But it doesn't provide you grant pass. It doesn't provide you to have up to 6 delegates annually to present your school, your university, your institute, your foundation. And the other two, I just like to briefly mention UN Women and UNESCO, and there are other entities, project-based specific organizations, when they are open projects to NGOs and when application came in and selected. So those are different than first two. So this is an overview. And the programs we produce with Professor Sabahattin Devecioğlu in 2005, how sport can contribute toward peace and sustainable development goals at St. Peter's University. And this is, we have white cards somewhere. And we also promoted Row for Peace and produced 4-part programs, LMT programs based on those programs. And this is with our white cards, Sustainable Development Goals for Peace and Development. And this is 2019 was the last physical conference in Salt Lake City for the civil society. We presented a workshop and we try to propose, and usually we never rejected. Whenever we were able to submit our proposal, it's approved and we present it under different concept and different conference. And this was the South Korea. We had the visions for a universal education protocol towards global citizenship. And this was from the 2014 UNNJ conference at the United Nations. So this is my presentation. Thank you so much.
Wait.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. That was an amazing. I was busy taking the picture. That was amazing. I've taken so much notes. My hand is shaking. Thank you. Yes, you have.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You have presented some amazing, amazing information about your connection. You are a professor in your own level. We need you here more than ever. You're a gold mine. So
I'm here for you.
I am really.
As long as you ask, you need any information, any connection, and I'm willing to collaborate, organize joint event as well. That's how far we've come to this point.
Wonderful. I will be emailing you.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, I will email you on Monday because I have a women and youth program organization, and I have an NGO that is registered with women and youth. And then like with most of us, we do youth sports. We use sports for peace and for social, to build resilience and sports development. So this is amazing. Thank you so much for that great presentation.
Thank you.
I'm going to hand over now to Dr. Adem Kaya. Dr. Mehmet, Professor Mehmet, thank you so much for everything. I've really enjoyed. I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Dr. Adem Kaya, to take over from here. I've really enjoyed. Thank you. Like I said, I did not present, but my work is with youth sports. I use youth sports to empower. I use sports to empower women and youth to develop resiliency, to develop life skills. And I am a professor at the university. I'm at the department chair. So I'm going to yield the space for other people. Dr. Kaya, take over, please.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Rotush. I greatly appreciate you. Thanks a lot. So for your valuable times. I know it's Sunday and Eastern Sunday. Thank you so much already. You dedicated your time. We greatly appreciate. We continue our panel, and I'd like to now, Dr. Rotush, feel free to leave, please. I know you have family. You have some family event, so thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. Okay. They're waiting for me to go to lunch, so let me go join the family. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. And now I would like to introduce or invite to Dr. Kuznetsova from Russia. She's joining us. And then we're gonna turn the microphone to Mr. Akinci from Ethno Sports, and then we'll conclude our first sessions, okay? Or we can just go on, see how it goes. But I'd like to now turn the microphone to Professor Kuznetsova from Russia.
So, dear colleagues, I'm very glad to be among you. I thank you for invitation to this event. My name is Zinaida Kuznetsova. I'm professor, doctor from Republic of Tatarstan, Russia. So I'm a professor at the Management University, TISB. and I'm a dean of the Physical Education and Sports faculty in the specialty theory and practice of traditional games. So I'm serving on several journal editorial boards in Russia and in Spain. Presently, I'm serving as a scientific editor of the Scientific International Journal, Russian Journal of Physical Education and Sport. And we began already publishing articles concerning traditional games and sports. So I am a supervisor of 32 dissertations, PhD dissertations devoted to sports and physical education, and all of my postgraduates defended their theses. So many of them, of these theses, were devoted to traditional games. So I am now a member, a representative of the research line in World Ethnosport Confederation Dissertation Bureau. So Adam Kaya knows that. So I'm a member of the Scientific Expert Commission for the World Encyclopedia on Russian Traditional Sports and Games publication. All my life I'm working in the field of sports. I'm a master of sport in cycling. I was a member of our national team. So I want to speak about traditional games used at physical education lessons. Nowadays, there is non-standard situation of studying at educational institutions, conditioned by epidemiological situation in the world. It makes physical education teachers use more suitable for extreme situation measures of lessons organization. Pandemic caused not simple psychological conditions. Self-isolation had a great influence on the regular life of people, causing psychological unsteadiness. As mentioned, the head of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, in September 2020. After a removal of self-isolation, educational institutions began to work in the mode of including two teaching options. In
Dr. Kunisova, I'm sorry, Dr. Kunisova, are you able to play your presentation?
What is it? Yes. Yes, I am
okay.
beginning now.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. So go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was just curious.
So in physical education classes, more attention was paid to the implementation of the game methods now. It allows school children to actively engage in various communications. So, and we begin speaking about traditional sports and games. They are social manifestation based on agreement of rules. They were passed on from generation to generation as means of life experience, qualities, and personality traits transfer. As Parvabas points out, every game is a motricity, a mirror of the society that receives it, a micro-society or a society in miniature that shows social and cultural features of the context it represents. So the aim of the research is to characterize traditional games from the pedagogical viewpoint, to classify traditional games according to age characteristics of the children, to produce games as an argument for the traditional games inclusion in the national school curriculum of the Republic of Tatarstan, Russia. Taken together, these aims constitute one main goal: to increase pupils' learning activity through physical education, specifically traditional games, because of this difficult situation in the world nowadays. In August 2018, UNESCO, with the support of the World Confederation of Ethnosport, organized the 4th World Consultation for the Safeguarding and Promotion of Traditional Sports and Games in Istanbul, Turkey. The UNESCO Advisory Committee in charge of advancing this process stated the importance of recognizing the contribution of traditional sports and games to the strengthening of the inclusive intercultural dialogue, and underlined the need to promote their safeguarding and transmission as a form of cultural legacy through a set of guidelines. UNESCO underlines that cultural legacy represents a long experience of original and unrepeatable ways of being in the world. In this connection, traditional games are also part of the community's living culture, reflecting their concerns and desires, their knowledge and perspectives and projections toward ways of life in community. So 2 important factors are combined in the playing activity of children nowadays. When children join in the practical activity, they develop physically, becoming used in acting independently. They get moral and aesthetic satisfaction from this activity. It can deepen their knowledge of their surroundings. Physically, different physical qualities are developed by means of the traditional games, spatial quickness and adroitness. Simultaneously, motor skills are required and perfected. The movements involved in the playing activity are complex and different, potentially involving all muscle groups. The interplay of movements with rest and intensive actions, placing only a small strain on the musculature, allows the players to complete large volumes of work. The variable character of the loading can be adapted to correspond to the age characteristics of children and exerts an influence on improving blood circulation and functional systems activity respiration. Culturally, the Physical Education Department Working Group, under my guidance, studied traditional games and discovered that games differ in terms of both their origin and their content. For example, some games come into existence in a definite situation and disappear together with the situation. These games are individual and unique. They lack traditions. Tata children have many traditional games. For example, the game clapping or tag, see below. The rules and the distance of the game change in accordance with time, but its principle is unchanging. Some games are hundreds and even thousands of years old. For example, an outstanding Eastern scientist, Mahmud Kashgari, left interesting data in the Dictionary of the Turkish Language, written between 1073 and 1074. In the author's description of children's games, we find the game Ishta Ishta, fly fly. It is played by our children nowadays. So classification of traditional games is done by our group. So I only want to mention those outstanding scientists who devoted their works to traditional games and sports. The Gottsmuth, Kolotza, Johnson, Gorinovsky, Yakovlev. Those are people who were beginning these classifications corresponding to the principles of physical education, teaching theory. Traditional games can be classified according to characteristic movements and use equipment, according to games belonging to different age groups of the population, according to organizational forms of using them. So they can be classified according to characteristic movements and equipment used. Traditional games may be subdivided into outdoor games with running and jumping, games with throwing, games for balance and rotation, games played blindfolded, circle games, symbolic games, winter games, home games, games in the water, games with various equipment, toys. The third method of classification is represented by the division of games, those of individual and of collective character. For example, a Russian game clapping, Tetnashki, or tag is played among boys and girls of 5 till 12 years old. 2 persons or a group of children can play this game. For children of 7 till 9 years old, musical forming of the game is very important. They like games with songs, with reciting. At the age of 9, it is better to recommend games which demand the development and improvement of coordination movements, organization, and behavior of children. By ages 10 to 11, children become stronger, have better coordination possibilities. Their quickness, adroitness, hardness are developed. Their adaptation to physical loading rises. Games of rather complex content are accessible for children of this age. Boys prefer games with wrestling elements, mutual assistance. Girls usually prefer quiet games with rhythmical movements and exact actions with subjects, balls, etc. The competitive element is vividly expressed in these games. The games become longer and more expressive. Games for children of 13, 15 are rather different. They are shorter in duration, but more complicated. These changes are explained by the age development peculiarities of the children. Their behavior is distinguished by instability, sharp mood changes, sudden decisions. Boys and girls of this age often play jointly, but girls prefer games demanding exact and adroit movements, usually found in rhythmical dancing games. Youths of 16, 17 reach a high level of physical development and have much playing experience. Physical fitness takes the first place here. Using of traditional games helps to solve this main problem. Youth pay great attention to the tactics and results of their actions. In choosing their tactics and ways of achieving victory, they show independence. They prefer to be leaders, team captains. Youths prefer games where they can show strength and adroitness. Different relay races, games with resistance, complicated coordination tasks are popular among them. Conclusion. So, the Educational Department and Physical Education Working Group, under my guidance, gathered 300 traditional games, characterized them from the pedagogical viewpoint, and classified these traditional games according to age characteristics of children. The working group provided a 3-year experiment in teaching the traditional games to children of different age groups, discussing traditional games with teaching staff at seminars, and recommended traditional games as valuable for the physical education national curriculum in Tatarstan, Russia. They are accepted as a 3rd physical education lesson per week. The working group considers that using traditional games in the process of physical education promotes solving education tasks central to any national curriculum. In 2021, we became members of the international project Opportunity. It involves 9 partners from 7 countries: Spain, Portugal, Italy, France, Croatia, Poland, Tunisia, and associated countries. It is an opportunity to activate a very encouraged project locally and internationally. We are very grateful to Professor Pirula Vega for inviting us to this project. We proposed a new project in our country to the Minister of Education. Traditional games are the connection of generations. The project is accepted. We plan to organize, we began already 3 theses, doctorate theses, and we plan to organize traditional games festival at the level of the Republic Tatarstan, Russia. And the next step will be participation in the International Festival on Traditional Games in Croatia in 2022. Thank you for your attention. If you give me 5 minutes, I want to show you some video which are done nowadays already after this pandemic. Lena, помоги мне.
Yeah, we got, okay. Just make it quick,
Can you
please,
give me
because
5 minutes?
okay.
That fight is called this traditional game. It is traditional Tatar game. Children play it with pleasure. It is belt wrestling. Belt wrestling is very popular in our country, in our republic. And nowadays, belt wrestling is developing in 70 countries. And we sent an article devoted to belt wrestling with my postgraduate to this conference, to this forum. Sorry, wait a minute, please. It is also a very interesting game. It is rope. It is called rope. It is also Tatar traditional game, but it is developed in many countries.
We sort of have a low internet connection apparently because the video is not loading fast enough. Well, let's see.
I'm very sorry. The last one, because it
Okay.
is very interesting and children are interested in these games. You see, after this COVID-19, it is very interesting to accept them, to keep them on the physical education lessons, you see.
Yes.
It is on sick. It is also done in many countries, in Turkish countries especially.
Yes. Can you make the screen bigger, please?
What is it? What did you say?
Make it bigger a little bit. The
Bigger.
video is in a small box. Video shows in a small box.
So it is small enough.
Okay.
It is Turkish people game mainly, and people and children play it with great pleasure.
Okay, Dr. Kuznetsova. Dr. Kuznetsova, I guess we lost her. We lost her. She has low internet connection probably, and probably now we lost her totally. When she comes back, she can conclude her presentation. Now we're gonna go on, and we got one more distinguished panelist here, Levent Akıncı from Ethnosports. He's the global coordinator for World Ethnosports Confederations, and he will give us some update about what's going on overall. So, Mr. Akıncı, it's yours. Go ahead.
Dr. Kaya, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I am very honored to join this beautiful event. And can you hear my voice, by the way?
Yeah, we hear you clearly.
I am very glad to join you guys on this day, and I would like to congratulate people here who are celebrating the Easter. So that I wish each and everyone happiness and well-being, especially these times within this Corona COVID times. I hope everyone health and a good life. First of all, I would like to say, I would like to refer the title of this session. I assume and I consider this is very crucial that how we are going to create or contribute to peace, global peace through traditional sports and games, especially around these unprecedented times during and after COVID. I consider that the kids, especially the youth, are not enjoying these times. They are at home pretty much stuck as we are, and it is important for them to interact with some new things. And here, traditional sports, they appear as a new instrument for being busy. This is very important to make them aware about the existence of traditional sports and games. For this, as VEC, we have been trying to contribute to the world to widespread the awareness or popularizing the traditional sports and games through some activities. We started with co-organizing the World Nomad Games in Kyrgyzstan around 5-6 years ago. Then we continued our activities or diversified our activities within Turkey. We have been organizing World Ethno Sport Festival in Istanbul. After we organized the first one, we saw the interest from the people. They are very interested. So that if we make this reachable, these sports and games, it would be very beneficial to society and to the youth. Because there's a huge interest from people, because it is the tendency of people to spend more time with their roots, what they have played back in time, and it is warmer for them. For this reason, we are very motivated as VEC to continue our activities in every field, in the organizing big festivals. Hopefully this year, I can announce that we are postponing the World Nomad Games to the next year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. In Turkey, it's going to take place next year. As VEC, we are going to be contributing to this great organization, as we have done always. And we have been also coordinating the academic field. We have gathered lots of academicians from different parts of the world, and we created groups, like leading group consisted of many academicians who are experienced. And also we have the working group, and we have initiated a project which is called Ethnosport Encyclopedia. We are working on that. Digitalization here plays a key role to make these sports at least visible throughout these hard times. Hopefully we are going to achieve this at the earliest time with the contribution of very valuable academicians, including many of the people here, so that it will be very good. I also would like to briefly mention about Ethnosport Forum. As many of you are aware, Ethnosport Forum, which gathers many of the experts, academicians, and ministers, heads of associations, federations, from all around the globe. It is the place where people can gather and talk. This year, in a week, on the next Saturday, we are going to be organizing this event online. We waited to make it physically in Baku, Azerbaijan this year, but we couldn't make it this year, unfortunately. We are going to meet with everybody next year in Azerbaijan, Baku, but this year with the participation of our president, even His Excellency Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Maybe we are not for sure at this moment if he'll be attending to our forum physically, but we hope that he would attend. We care about, the government being involved in traditional sports and games. Governmental support makes it more sustainable. Whatever you do in this field, you are organizing the festival or you are making an academic research. This is very important so that this year we are expecting our president. Next year in Baku, we are expecting His Excellency Ilham Aliyev, so that we are trying to trigger a motivation on the highest level from the government. Hope that we are going to achieve with your contribution during the forum. It will be a great event, and it's going to be a meeting point for all of us once again. And once again, I would like to thank Mr. Adem Kaya for organizing, and Mr. Dr. Mehmet Türkmen. He has been with us from the beginning. His contributions is guiding us deeply in a very positive way, and all of the professors here, I would like to thank. And I would like to congratulate also that the Traditional Sport Research and Development Center is gonna become an institute. It will be a great step for making it stronger. And Mr. Kaya, allow me to remind lastly, the VEC PhD scholarships program. We have created a program that offers with monthly good amount of financial supports for those who are studying their PhD, so that you can tell this anyone for them to apply. For now we have 3 recipients from different countries, so that we would be expecting more students to apply. It would be, a great chance for students and, a generous support. And we are also happy to be able to provide this humble support. So we are waiting everyone to apply, PhD students in this field. Thank you so much once again for your contributions, for your great presentations. Hope to meet with you on the forum. And once again, I am inviting all of you to our Ethnosport Forum on next Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akıncı, for your speech and information. We cannot wait to attend your forum next week and next Saturday, and I'm sure it will be very productive, and it will be very great to see fellows in the TSG community getting together for common purpose.
Mr. Kaya, before I forget, let me pass all the regards from our VEX president, Necmettin Bilal Erdogan. He couldn't join today because of his busy schedule, but he is aware of this event, and he passed all of congratulations and regards to all of the participants here at this stage.
Thank you again. Thank you for that, and thanks a lot. Okay, at this moment we conclude our first sessions, guys. So let's just do. Let's just give us what time is it from your side? I don't know. In America, it is 1:15. Let's give us like 5 more minutes. We take 5 more break. In Turkey, I think it's about like 8 to 15. If you are joining from somewhere else, just 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Okay. After 5 minutes, we're right back on. Okay. You can leave your camera on, or turn off your microphone though, or turn off your camera. And after 5 minutes, everybody is back up here. Okay. And then I want everybody to open up your videos. your cameras and microphone and listen to our presenter speech. At the end, you can engage with them discussions as well. Okay, if you are here, you can turn on your cameras. We start shortly. All right, so at this moment, I would like to open up the second sessions. This session is gonna be about the research in the traditional sports and game, but not limited to. We have different and sports related research and study paper presentations we're gonna have. And the first presenter will be Dr. Maidans. She's a PhD candidate actually at Eastern Mediterranean University. She's a faculty there, and her topic is importance of TSG in the sphere of childhood development and school education during and after COVID-19.
Yeah, just a second to share my screen with you.
Yes, set it up. No, take your time.
Yeah. So are we able to see it?
Yeah, we see you.
Okay. So hello, everyone. Before starting my presentation part, I want to say first that it's a great honor to stand here today on the behalf of Eastern Mediterranean University. I'm a psychologist, Denitsa Maidan, and today I'm going to present to you the outstanding topic associated with the importance of traditional sports and game in the sphere of childhood development and school education during and after new normal post-COVID-19 epoch. We all know that recently COVID-19 has been continuing evolving and affecting people all around the world. All the requirements associated with COVID-19 protection have been taken on a global scale. And that's why children's daily routines, vulnerability concerns, prospects for growth or development, and the way how they interact with one another unprecedentedly has been changed. Besides lack of face-to-face education, sport and necessity of social distancing expose the kids to a greater risk of social personal crisis, increased physical psychological health issues, and gaps in social contact. Hence, recently, the role of sport and exercise should be an essential topic for discussion, since it was reported that being physically active during home isolation enhances one's immune systems and well-being accordingly. For today's talk, as a role of sport, I mean traditional sports and game, and respectively, that's why the main aim of this presentation is to offer the insight into the subject associated with traditional sports and game as innovative transitional school curriculum approach. During a time of crisis where children's school engagement or well-being are challenged, experts in the field might reconsider the power of play or playfulness. Yes, due to the modernization, traditional sports and game may have lost popularity. However, we as society have the duty to reconsider such a fact. And in this sense, traditional sports and game might be re-evaluated by the experts during and after the new normal post-COVID-19 time, since the scientific literature pointed out that practicing traditional sports and game enhances children measured development domains, physical, cognitive, emotional, and social process, and sustainable development. And particularly games like Burning Ball, Guardians of the Fireplay, Four Corners, and many others improve physical capability, such as balance, speed, coordination, and flexibility, due to the nature that some of the game require, for instance, children to run, catch other player, hit the ball, jump, or manage body coordination. In addition, player could master several cognitive skills like tactics, strategy, buildings, memory, attention, and planning, even though during the game, children might learn how to initiate conversation, interact appropriately with others, and successfully lead a team. In the beginning, I mentioned that COVID has a detrimental effect on all aspects of our lives. However, instead of only focusing on the negative side of the pandemic, experts mentioned that COVID crisis could be seen as opportunity for educational organization to regrow, reimagine, and reconsider. Correspondingly, when innovation is mentioned, governments and non-government organizations could also focus on deriving inspiration simultaneously from the past to create and guide children toward a prosperous future. And hence, traditional sports and game might be seen as a new innovative, just a second, it's a new innovative traditional school play subject that could be implemented as a bridge between past and present and teleschooling with face-to-face education. The conventional role of TSG might prove to be highly important in addressing children's new link with physical socialization, sports activity, and well-being. Traditional sports game might assist and equip students to adjust promptly toward the old version of school of face-to-face education. During the period of online teaching combined by social isolation, students became used to being with fewer individuals. However, if the same student returned to traditional school environment after 1 year gap spent at home, they might find it challenging to focus entirely on the subject that require greater attention in the beginning. And that's why traditional sports and game could be served as a break for students, enabling them to relieve cognitive strain after science course, which require a huge amount of engagement and focus. Traditional sports and game are also flexible in nature, and accordingly, they could be incorporated into teleschooling approach, where the teacher might discuss them in the form of oral presentation during online class and ask children to play later on their own. And every game has a history and story, and henceforward, a similar strategy might be effective in engaging curiosity for the cognitive growth, family relationship, and interactive play from the child, even when they are at home. So yeah, some of you may wonder why exactly traditional sports and game, why not modern sport? Playing conventional game at school during class or break can as well benefit young people in numerous other ways by promoting countrywide pride, improving interdependence, relation with the other, respectively building a base for future participation. Even compared to modern competitive sports, TSG are relatively straightforward to learn, plan, and assess, and simultaneously do not require greater financial support and equipment. Therefore, implementing such activity into the school phase or online curriculum might have an enormous positive impact on children's needs during the post-COVID-19 era, to go from the digital classroom to TSG games that combine within tradition, history, and culture we need, to dare to transform the learning into a pleasant process, to dare to keep children curiosity about the world and their own culture, to dare to fulfill children's new needs, to dare to provoke children's desire to explore the past and seek direction for future, to make children step out from the digital world and enjoy the real life, even like to dare to challenge ourselves by creating an entire new class product following the creativity and experience guidance over the years. And lastly, to dare to make the young generation to have fun during the process of learning and practices. In conclusion, we as society have the responsibility to educate children to value what they have here and now, and simultaneously to guide them on preserving and care for cultural heritage, tradition in the past in the best possible manners. Our actions and manner are the one which are vital to inspire the young generation. And as medicine say, according to Darwin's origin of species, it's not the most intellectual of the species that survive. It's not the strongest that survive, but the species that survives is the one that is able to best to adapt and adjust to the challenging environment in which it finds itself. Following the same presumptions, I would like to conclude that time have become dedicatedly challenging over the past years. And hence, let's get the best out of the past and applying to new COVID-19 era today, adapting in order to survive. That's the end of my presentation. Thanks for your attention. One more time, thanks for that kind invitation. And especially, I want to say thanks to my supervisor, Assist Professor Dr. Yukay Yorganji. She was my biggest support during the process of preparing this talk to you. Together with her, we conduct this topic. So once more time, thanks. I will be glad to answer any of your questions during the Q&A session after the presentations.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Maiden, for your wonderful informations. At this moment, just if anybody has any question, you can ask her. If not, I pause a little bit just in case if anybody has any questions. Okay, so we move on then to next panelist. Next presenter.
Adem,
Yes.
Just a very general question. Usually, these type of research projects are very much limited within the area of academia, student, teachers, and towards the PhD, whatever the ultimate goal. But what are the avenues or strategic planning to make them as part of public policy and engage with the public divisions and governments and other public institutions? What is there a vision to develop other aspects that's going to represent the whole society or encourage them to involve?
Yeah, thanks for your question. Yeah, we need awareness. Even though honestly, I was being a professional handball player for more than 10 years, but like now, knowing that topic, I started preparing for this topic 1 month ago, and I saw how beneficial is those traditional sports games. So we need first awareness. All government organizations, non-government organizations start to promote this game. Because after, I checked a lot of paper and I understand the benefit. And most probably I will also connect, I will do my thesis on that topic for sure. It's beneficial, but we need to spread more awareness. People should realize that this game really can do that symbiosis between past and present. Because as I say, every story has a history. And so it will be really interesting for the children to learn that history and at the same time play. And why not, even when the instructor are presenting to them that kind of history, they are asking them to play on their own. Those children after the lesson can play some of the games with their parents. And again, it's making them more together. Like there is a huge benefit. So we need to try and make something to spread that awareness.
What would be your suggestion to any government to incorporate these ideas in the public policy?
For sure, yeah, for sure. I mean, after that presentation and after that conference, we need to try to make something in North Cyprus about these issues. We will, for sure.
Inform us when there is a progress. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, both of you, for questioning and answering. And the next presenter will, the topic is about national games and health issue. Kasım Bekova, is that your turn or your colleague is gonna present? I don't know who is gonna present, but you can start sharing your screens if you have presentations. Kasım Bekova or Dazik Shanos, I don't know if they are ready. Kasım Bekova?
Hello?
Yes, time back.
1 second, please.
Yes, take your time. If you are not ready, we can come back to you. But let's just.
Hello.
Oh,
Hi.
time back. Time back. You're ready? Okay, never mind.
My name is Shamil. I'm student first course Kyrgyz Medical State Academy. National games and health issues. They say that if you want to get to know the nation for self-play attraction to the games of your child, circles say that games is an ethnotional memory contain centers of information tell about the past and determine the footer. Richter Bernstam uses archaeological find to say that the Kogas they are injured people. As a Kogas warrior nation access, we tied to cradles and boys' right hands were traded from an early this is game were not only for leisure to entertainment, but also for a number of important processes. First, sociocultural task. During the game, the child feel like it's like an individual and a member of a group, as well develops physical, emotional, and social space. Second, communication function. Games can be a bridge for adjunct to and children accompanied by energetics for conservations paper purpose for group work because they get used to listening to each other and opening each other during communication and arguments. Diagnostic task. The game help to identify abnormalities in the chest movement. At the same time, it helps to open the child's hairs and motivate him to search. Therapeutic and corrective task. In many cases, game to help to harmonize the mental development of children and prevent crisis. Game revealed the mental and emotional stress and immature children seek help from game psychotherapist to a tool to real fair stress, emotional and intellectual stress. Games play an important role in the formation of difference. Matchmains are a strong psycho-emotional exercise, and as a result of rich positive emotions are developed. Therefore, it is necessary not to take games lightly, but to determine their worthy pace in the formation of the dialogue searchable. This is because, according to the World Health Organization, physical activity is a natural human need. Lack of physical activity is incomplete satisfaction of natural needs in the first leading cause of death. Each other 3.2 million people die from this problem. According to the STOP study, today 76% Kyrgyzstanis led hypodynamic lifestyle. According to the Center of Electronic Health under the Ministry of Health of the Kyrgyz Republic, the main causes of death are non-communicable. This is in cardiovascular disease, 50% overweight.
Shamil, you got 2 minutes, okay? Try to wrap it up, please.
Okay. Center 12% diabetes, and 8% ACT. According to the etiology and the cause of this disease is according with in factually academic of Russian Academy medical scientist Sukharayev studying with the norms of daily physical activity. According to 2018 study, 7% of children in the Kyrgyz Republic are unworthy, and the 12% are short. Doctors also liked this is to the lifestyle of the Z generation in the age of globalization. Insult the incapable in the diagram is a result of the study the University of the educations in the main group. They are the national games were played systematically parameters of RAS our birds. The diagram for a show. Oh, sorry. We
Shamil, yeah, just try to close it, please. Okay.
Okay. We can tell to our rich national choicely to take care of children to the gear notes of the future. After all in the Kogos people game of many the action we invited and served. Let's try to clarify in the example for the epic manas, because today this is growing to search for ethnic visual of the national in the epic manas. Again, example of cultural hairs. Kyrgyz people and integrated to of traditional Kyrgyz culture, a great self-identified power, spiritual capital with cover all aspects of social.
Time back. I'm afraid we have to move on. Okay, so thank you so much for your presentations, and we're running out of time. So thank you, and good luck with your research, and wish you in the future you attend any event like this too. Thank you. If anybody has any questions, you can address to. Is your name Ulu or Shamir? What's your name?
My name is Shamil.
Shamil, okay. Thank you, Shamil, for attending. So we move on, everybody. So this time, just a small changes in our agenda. Not much, actually. We have, like I said earlier, we have a professor from Brazil, and he's attending. And Professor Rabio, could you share? Kadirhan Özdemir, I apologize for cutting you, but we let him present his presentation, and then you are next.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who is now?
Yeah, that's you, Dr. Jose Fabio. Go ahead.
Fábio José Cardias Gomes. Can I present?
Yes, it's your turn. Go ahead.
Okay, I will try to be. How long do I have?
Try to keep it within 6 minutes or so, please. Okay.
Okay, I'll try to be fast.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to. I knew about this event yesterday by a friend that is here, Josefa Seber, a Brazilian anthropologist, and I did a short presentation. My major is at sports psychology. No, I forgot to hear a sports psychology. I work at sports, social sports psychology. I am a federal public servant at the Federal University of Maranhão for 10 years now. I will start with my reference background. I'm working from Europe, Bruno Latour, investigations about existence modes, symmetric anthropology, yes, important to me. They work with Viveiros de Castro, the glance of jaguar, or Aroeté, the people of Ipixuna, ethnography, are important anthropologists for us. We have Aroeté, the cannibal gods, and is there word to come? We have also nationalism and capitalism in Peru, the important work for us, the Aníbal Quijano with the concept of colonization, decolonization, and the Latin American critical thinking with Edna Castro, Amazonia thinker. We are studying Amazon and the traditional games, the traditional indigenous games in Amazon, in the perspective of cosmological perspectivism with Amazonian ethnography, yes? So this is my region in the Amazon area, we call Pan-Amazon, many countries and 7 states in Brazil, the Pan-Amazon. Many indigenous games are under research. We are so far from Manas University, yeah? 1 day and 13 hours by plane. So I live here, north. A friend of mine here, Joseph Assep, lives in south. We are now in contact, trying to research in joint. This is my region. The areas in yellow are the indigenous area I go for data collecting about games and mental health with indigenous people. Have the ethnic sport background. Arariboia, it's a very small part of Amazon. In the skirts, we have farmers and loggers, yes? It's always a continuum treating, yes? We have Arariboia, we have Governador, we have Cati, we have Gavião, Guajajara, about 5 ethnic groups. So before going to the Timbira Games,
They have more. It just was that the
there
only
is
one
more,
she
just a
shared.
moment. COVID-19 in Brazil. Yes, we have neglect by the federal government. It becomes an indigenous tragedy. We have the first notification in Brazil was an Italian man in February 25. The National Institute of the Foundation, Indigenous National Foundation, just stopped assistance actions, which was a problem. The health department of indigenous gave important technical information about the virus in the communities, as this is an Amazonian community, as an example of Amazonian community. But we have some problems. Yeah, we have the illegal gold diggers after COVID-19, an invasion of illegal gold diggers in the lands. The indigenous are complaining of their structured action. The National Health Indigenous is ignoring the importance of testing virus in the communities. The first indigenous to be contaminated by coronavirus was infected by a physician from the National Health Care. The military government of Jair Bolsonaro has sanctions on emergency aid, but without avoiding the contamination. Now you are epicenter of the coronavirus in the world. We have problems to take care of indigenous living in urban context. The Yanomami lands are dying. We have the first case with a young Yanomami by COVID-19. Many leaderships, as the Urueu ethnic, are being killed by invaders, especially farmers and gold miners. The National Indigenous Foundations is allowing no indigenous to entrance in the indigenous land. So some examples, okay? Just to be fast. We have now underreported 30,800 contaminated indigenous and about 493 dead indigenous people. But it is a problem of underreported, and we would like to give an emphasis the importance of the games we research in Amazon lands. They are importantly connected to land defense. Yes, we cannot separate indigenous games and land defense. So we need to work with these conceptions. Yeah, this is the style I have been researching, the log race. Yes, I can talk more in a different time with more time, but it's an important practice among Krikati people. The log race, the log, it's about 100 kilo. They have to run 10 kilometers or 20 kilometers, switching it from each other. Yes, we have the women Krikati. They take care of the family and they also run the log race. Yes, so we are working in this perspective of indigenous politics, relating the importance of indigenous traditional games and the defense of territory, always in threatening, yes, because they are invaded by farmers and gold miners with many killers, yes. So me and anthropologist friend from Brazil also in indigenous politics, and I have the ethnic sport background to promote social health, mental health, and the well-living, as the indigenous call the well-living in general, is more than our West concepts, okay? So it's just many fast examples what I have done here. Thank you to Mr. Kaya for introducing me to this group. Nice to meet some friends, Josefa Seber, Perila Vega, and others. I'd like to know the work a little more. And thank you for your kind attention, Aden Kaya, Dr. Aden Kaya, okay? Any contact, this is my email. E muito obrigado. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Fabio Jos Cardias. Thanks a lot. I mean, that's so, like, it's always so fascinating, you know, how, you know, that indigenous peoples in Amazon, and so sad to see that coronavirus impacting their life as well. And I hope that, you know, the governments and health organization handle the case successfully very soon in everywhere, like not just in Brazil, everywhere. We look forward to seeing you in the future and collaborating more on different subjects, of course. If anybody has any question for Fabio, you can address it now. If not, we move on to next presenter. If no questions, let's just then move on. Now, next presenter will be Kadirhan Özdemir from, he's a PhD student from Hacı Bayram University. His topic is on about an evaluation on sustainability of traditional sports.
Thank you, Doctor. Is it clear?
Yeah, we see you clearly.
Thank you. My name is Kadirhan, and I am a PhD student at Ankara Hacı Bayram Veli University, Department of Turkish Folklore. First of all, I would like to thank you to TSG committee and chairman of panel, Professor Dr. Mehmet Türkmen. Today, in my presentation, I will talk about Turkish traditional oil wrestling. First, I will explain what is oil wrestling and what are main elements of oil wrestling. Then I will talk about the relations between oil wrestling and United Nations SDGs. There are 5 different branches of Turkish traditional wrestling, and oil wrestling is one of them. And Kırkpınar Oil Wrestling Festival is the one of the oldest sport activities in the world. Oil wrestler is called Pehlivan, which is an exemplary character in Turkish society. And this sport has very different traditional rituals. Traditional oil wrestling Kırkpınar was proclaimed throughout the world when it was added to UNESCO representative list of intangible cultural heritage humanity in 2010 on behalf of Turkey. And the other traditional wrestling representative is Georgia, Republic of Korea, Korea Democratic People's Republic, Kazakhstan, and Mongolia. In this sport, there are some main elements such as Er Meydanı, men's field. The arena where the Kırkpınar oil wrestling tournaments take place is called Er Meydanı, men's field. This place where all brave men have an opportunity to show their talent and wisdom. And another main elements of oil wrestling is AGA. AGA may be the oldest kind of sponsorship. He or she provides economic support during the festival. Nowadays, Ministry of Youth and Sports and Governorship of Edirne support the tournament with AGA. Being AGA also is still a revered statue among the people of Edirne. And the authors, Cazgır, Dellal, the person who introduces the names, fames, and tales of the wrestlers and who starts the wrestling is known as the announcer or Cazgır. In this sport, there are some rituals, and one of the most important ritual in this sport is Peşrev. Peşrev, a kind of theoretical introduction to wrestling, praying and warming up at the same time. Wrestlers touch the ground by the right hand, then touch knee, lips, and head. It means don't be proud of your power and skills. You came from the ground and you will become a ground again. You will give a report for the good you received. And the other tradition in this sport, red button candle. As I told, AGA is responsible for invitation of wrestlers and guests. And AGA sends invitations to Kırkpınar in shape of candles with red wax bottom. These candles informs about the soon start of the festival. And other main elements of wrestling, oiling. Pehlivans who wear the kispet and enter for wrestling first oil up. Oilmen walk around the men's field with jugs, supplies oil for the pehlivans who demand oil up during the wrestling. In order the pehlivan go for oil, he needs his rival's permission, and it shows us respect is a key element in all process of wrestling. The other main elements, davul and zurna player. All the festival is accompanied by traditional music, plays on drums and flutes. Kispet, basic outfit of wrestler. The importance of kispet is shown a proverb. Kispet is a half of pehlivan. If the kispet is not strong enough, then wrestler may lose the match. This is why it's so important. İrfan Şahin, the Kispet Master, was declared a living human treasure by Turkish Ministry of Culture and Tourism in 2009. This is an example that demonstrates Turkey's focus on safeguarding of tradition with all its related elements. The last element to mention here is zembil. Zembil, a kind of handled basket used for carrying relevant object like kispet. The materials used in zembil making are nature-friendly product. In addition to that, nature-friendly product is linked to United Nations SDG 12. The potential for sport to contribute to sustainable development is stated in 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development with identification of sport is also important enabler of sustainable development. And Kırkpınar is directly related to 3 goals. One of them is number 3, healthy lives. The other, number 4, quality education. And the other, 16, peaceful and inclusive society. Kırkpınar oil wrestling, as I told, has different ritual, and some of them is directly related to the 16th goal of SDG. For example, Peşrev. Peşrev symbolizes the pehlivan's respect to his rival for honorable match. Each wrestler touches his rival's heel with his right hand, puts that hand near his own lips and then forehead, which means I accept your success and I respect your victory. After the game, if the winner is younger, he kisses the rival's hand. If older, the loser kisses winner's forehead. If the rivals are at the same age, they cuddle up as a sign brotherhood. Being healthy is a crucial to become successful wrestler in Kırkpınar. For these reasons, wrestlers have to protect their health and condition in every month of the year, especially in summer months. Wrestler must care their wellness. It is possible to say that Kırkpınar has a direct connection with one of the goals of SDG with number 3. There are some point the relation between Kırkpınar and education. Research and Application Center for Kırkpınar Value at Trakya University, Symposium by School of Physical Education and Sports, Master and PhD thesis about traditional wrestling, sports club, sporting promising children and young people, seminars conducted by Turkish Wrestling Federation for referees and wrestlers. And the website of Kırkpınar Oil Wrestling Festival, it's a digitalization project. This website is in 6 languages, and there are so many researchers in this website. The book Pehlivan, published by Turkish Ministry of Culture and Tourism in Turkish and in English. The documentary Young Wrestlers, this documentary won Jury Special Award in Berlin International Film Festival and Best Fiction Award International Antalya Film Festival. As a conclusion, when Kırkpınar Wrestling Festival had been inscribed in representative lists, it became more important for all of us, and this sport, which is associated with directly 3 and 1 indirect goals of sustainable development within issues such as education, peace, health, and respect for people and nature. And this sport will be passed on to future generation with the support of various researchers and institutions. Those are my references. And thank you for your listening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Özdemir, for your presentations at this moment. I want to open up the opportunity to the attendants if they have any questions for Mr. Özdemir. All right, thank you so much again, Mr. Özdemir, and we move on to next presenter. Mr. Dolgun, Onurcan Dolgun, he's a graduate student from Istanbul Ayvansaray University. His topic is about analysis of archery activity in Turkey during COVID-19. Onur, can you turn on your microphone?
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, now we hear you.
Okay. I am Onurcan. I am researcher assistant at Istanbul Ayvansaray University Sport Management Department. I am glad to be here with you. I will talk about coronavirus effect on archery. Firstly, archery has long history going back to the earliest times in human history. Following the simple hand axis, fires related to arrow and both were first encountered in the late Paleolithic period, and this has evolved as a new development. For the people living on the cave edge, the bow and arrow were used as a means of war defense and protection. In most of the ruins from ancient period, traces or archery were found. Although the history or archery dates back to the Stone Age, the first example of the archery existing today. In other words, from a plate using a bow and arrow belongs to the ancient Egyptians firstly. It is known that the Turkish states used arrows in the immemorial. It was even seen that Oğuz Khan used a bow and arrow in the 28 before Christ. In addition to this, it is known that the gave names such as Oğuz Khan's grandson, who is from his first three sons, Gün, Ay, and Yıldız, to the right arm Bozoklar and his grandson from Gök, Dağ, and Deniz, to left arm Üç Oklar. Turks used archery even their children's game. Growing up playing these games, Turkish children would reach a level where they could shoot arrows skillfully in their youth. Our method is qualitative research based on examination based on the document analysis. Now, chapter 3, coronavirus. As you know, coronavirus started in Wuhan, city of China, in December 2019. Later, the disease turned into an epidemic affecting the world. In a short time, it has influenced North America, Asian Pacific countries, Europe, and finally, whole world. The epidemic was declared as a pandemic by the World Health Organization on March 11, 2020. Our next chapter is coronavirus and its impact on the sports sectors. Millions of spectators travel international to the countries that host the sports events that the world is curious about. Besides these journeys, the events to be organized also attract citizens living in the country. The large communities increase the risk of contracting existing infectious diseases. In addition to organized competition, which are allowed so much by the audience, are held in large sports stadiums with a large number of spectators. And this significantly increases the risk of spreading. While there was a serious struggle with coronavirus around the world, and the unprecedented crisis was encountered in the sports world. As a result of the postponement of the matches, the cancellation of tournaments, and the presence of the athletes' technical delegation, coaching, and quarantine, was inevitable to take serious or negative decision in sporting events. For example, postponement of Euro 2024 1 year, suspension of competition in European Football League, Formula One Grand Prix 2020, the Six Nation Rugby Championship in Ireland and Italy, and the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games was postponed by the International Olympic Committee for the first time in its history. Another important point is coronavirus impact to archery in Turkey and organization process. Coronavirus negatively affected archery as a many sports. It is seen that last activity in March was held between 13 on 22 March, and the next activity was held on 1 or 15 June. When the previous action programs from coronavirus or Turkey traditional Turkish Archery Federation examined, it's seen that the activities has started in June, and it has concluded that all three activities are performed on average each month. According to the statement by the World Health Organization, archery sports is in the sports group with the least risk. After this statement, archery activities, which were postponed on the 24 March 2020 and start again in June. To sum it up, The virus has affected sports industry as well as every other industry. Coronavirus, which negatively affect almost all sport branches, including international competition, Euro 20, bicycle racing, volleyball, and basketball, caused sports events to be postponed or cancelled. Since it was thought that taking spectators in sports competition, which start again later, would cause the virus to spread faster, it was decided to play competition without spectators. Finally, archery, one of the affected sports branch, also suspend activities for a while, but resumed activities shortly after World Health Organization added to it the lowest risk group. While starting the activities, some measures were taken by both the traditional Archery Federation and it continued its activities in this way. If we talk about these measures, the hours of competition have been reduced. The actual shots has been started right after the side shots. Regulation have been made in fields of activities and the number of activities has been reduced. Yeah, that is all by thanks for helping for Emel Devecioğlu and Cansu Bahadır. Thank you for listening to me. Also, this is my first conversation. Sorry so my thrill. If you have any question, you can ask me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Onur, for your presentation. That's great. So it's so nice to see some young researcher and graduate students. Onur, he's my assistant from Ayvansaray University. I am also serving on the faculty Ayvansaray University in Istanbul. So thank you so much again. For nice presentations. And now we're gonna move on to next presenter. Next presenter is Mulukova Irina Mulukova or Alexander Kuznetsov and Stanlov Kuznetsov. If any of you are here, you can set up your presentation. Their topic is about belt wrestling and millennial heritage of the whole world.
So, dear Adam Kaya, they will not be able to participate today, you see.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, no problem. Thank you. I believe I received their paper already, right? They send the paper.
Yes, you receive it, but they participating only without the paper, without presentation.
Okay, that's okay. That's understandable. No problem. And the next presenter, if they are here, Ismailova Mutavia Kazan from Volva region. Kuznetskova, I believe they are your students, maybe?
Also my postgraduates. Today we will not participate. Next time we will be able to do.
Okay, that's fine. How about other one? Experimental testing in school children motor activity. Are they here?
Yes. No.
Okay.
No.
And then other ones.
All of them are my postgraduates.
Okay, no problem. They are all graduate students.
Today we will not participate, Mr. Adam. Next time they will be able to speak already. You see, there is no connection. Something happened and I escaped, you see? There is not so good connection internet in our country yet. Next time.
Dr. Zinoda, that's still totally understandable. Please, I mean, I still appreciate. I mean, your leadership and your mentoring these wonderful graduate students and on TSG. Thank you very much. And is Carlos Malin here? Carlos?
It is not my postgraduate already.
They're postgraduate, okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Carlos, you are here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for attending. Now it's your turn. If you are ready, you can start your presentation.
Okay.
Carlos, his topic is about effect of sporting and traditional games on emotional wellness. He can tell us more about his organizations.
Yeah. Well, my name is Carlos Mayen Lacambra. I'm part of the GM group of the National Institute of Physical Education in Lleida.
Could you tell us what's GM Group?
City of Spain.
What's
GM Group is an investigation group. For example, Professor Perela Vega, who has spoken before, is part of this group, and we are a group who is investigating about the motor actions, traditional games, and more or less we are trying to have a 360 perspective of what happens inside the games while players are playing.
Okay.
And this is more or less the main of our big group. So today I will present, well, first of all, thank you for this invitation. I'm very grateful for all of you. And I will present you this study toward physical education of quality in the difficult situation of COVID-19, contribution of traditional sporting games. This is a paper that I've written with Professor Pere La Vega, who has spoken before. So, traditional sporting games has a lot to contribute to the actual situation because TSG promotes positive experiences of emotional and relational well-being relating to the development of peaceful coexistence. And so TSG are a real arsenal for the PE teacher to generate varied experiences. So it's a very interesting kind of games for physical education lessons. And before any TSG, the players showed the unique way of adapting to the internal logic of that activity through motor conduct, MC. So every person lives a different experience. The MC refers to the motor responses that each person performs and the meaning that they give to that experience from different point of views. Cognitive, relational, affective, and organic. Cognitive is the sense of the protagonist's decisions. Relational could be the orientation of their emotion, their interactions towards certain adversaries or colleagues. Affective, emotions, experience, and organic, the management of the physical effort. And through the MC, each person testifies a unique way of playing a game. And the meaning of this experience has originated in their entire being. So this is very important. So in our study, we have to send the game of Marro. It's a traditional game. It's called by different names all around Europe, and it has been practiced since the Middle Ages. And more or less, this is a tag game where I will explain a little bit the rules briefly. The internal logic of Marro establishes that players are divided into teams and they start from home. And when a player leaves home, he or she can catch the opponents. But it's very important, he only can catch the opponents who have left before him or her. And then he or her can be caught by the opponents who have left after. Here, for example, we can see one orange player who is trying to catch a green player. And at the same time, there are two green players that are trying to catch the orange player. This is before probably, well, this is because the orange player has left home after the first green player, but before the two green players. More or less, this is the game. And players who catch the rival take him or her to the prisoner area where they will form a chain. Here we can see two green prisoners. And prisoners can be saved. And the game ends when one team captures all the opponents, or it is also possible to play and then that after that determined time, the team that has more rivals prisoners will win the match. So this was a game that the players were playing. And the objective of our study. In this study, we try to reveal the multidimensional emotional meaning that the motor conducts of Marro players evoke in the roles of home, prisoner, and alive, the three roles that you can have. And our hypothesis is that the analysis of the emotions comments will show a multitude of different meanings orientated to organic, relational, and cognitive dimensions. More or less the methodology were 160 university students. They played during 8 minutes. And after the game, they filled one questionnaire, the GES2, where they feel the intensity of the 5 basic emotions: joy, anger, rejection, sadness, and fear, and the causes of the emotional experience in each role, why they experience that. So at the end, we had a lot of intensities and 480 comments to analyze about this game. Our results says that the narratives of the emotions experienced in its role express relational meanings, cognitive aspects, and organic situations, as we have thought before. And relational meanings, motor interactions between participants, cognitive aspects, decision-making related to strategies, and organic situations, physical effort, and physical integrity. And this systematic set of meanings confirms that each person, when participating in the game of Marro, but in every TSG, is the bearer of a unique playful biography. As an example, I will explain you more or less the results in the role of alive, a role where you can catch, you can be caught, you can save your teammates, and you can try to avoid that the rivals save their prisoners. Is the most active role. So in this role, emotions, talking about relational meanings, the emotions confirm that the well-being or discomfort arises from the interaction with prisoner teammates, prisoner adversaries, and alive rivals. And players experience emotions of well-being or discomfort, depending on whether or not players can be captured, released, or prevented from rivals saving their prisoners. Talking about the cognitive dimension, emotions with cognitive meanings confirm the motor intelligence that activates Marro's internal logic, the rules of the game, and how we adapt to them. There is a great diversity of comments referring to the strategy or motor action plan that the players establish with their teammates to overcome the rivals. And the players express states of well-being or emotional distress according to the level of effectiveness, understanding of the strategies, and their level of effectiveness. And finally, talking about the organic meaning, well, there is an emotional well-being, and this well-being has been observed due to the dynamism of the game, being active, and managing physical effort when leaving the house. And some comments were negative. They create negative emotions, and they were related to the risk of injuries. And yeah, more or less that was it. Conclusions. So emotions are a key factor to reveal the meaning of the motor conducts of the protagonists. And this study confirms that by using the fundamentals of the science of motor action, we can show part of the mystery that hides the putting into action the internal logic of any TSG. And the findings shows that emotions, decisions, relationships with others, and physical effort are parts of the same multidimensional phenomenon. It's very important. And these results are very important because thanks to this kind of initiatives, future professionals in the motor conduct education can learn empirical evidence to add quality to their intervention programs. And as it is proposed in the international guidelines, such as UNESCO's Kazan Action Plan. And well, this is my presentation, and thank you very much for your attention and for your invitation.
Well, thank you very much, Carlos, for nice presentation, well study, and pretty impressive data you shared with us here. And thanks again. At this moment, if anybody has any question for Carlos, you can address. If not, I hope I didn't miss anybody who are planning to present, but I missed it. Did I miss anybody? You can speak up if I miss it. We try to schedule everybody as much as we can. So
I have a comment.
Yes,
to
please.
Kadirhan Özdemir. May I?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone's presentations. They are very interesting and informative, especially on the field you have told. And I like the archive targeting the COVID virus. That's really a very creative one. My comment to, or my, please consider as a suggestion, perhaps, to Kadirhan Özdemir, because he really lay out very nice, be informative and academic, and really he did a smart way to connect with the SDGs, as I was referring, suggesting that everything can be connected with. And there are near to 160 UN days and so many other UN years, UN weeks, decades. So if you look at, definitely you will find something. But my specific comment
Ms. Enver, at this moment, I would like to ask everybody to turn on their camera as well. So if you could, if you are available, go ahead, please. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we are getting to the end of our panels, and you can turn on your camera. So go ahead, please.
Okay, just the comment is that his connection with the SDG 16, just as a clarification, SDG 16 actually suggests and/or governments makes a commitment to strengthen the peaceful institutions, justice, and democracy. And for his comment, I understand there is a individual level, there is a correlation with SDG 16, but I consider that there are so many UN days that will be more fitting what you are describing. For instance, living with peace, one of the UN days I refer in my presentation, International Peace Day or International Skills Day, so many other days. But SDG 6 has really different weight and different commitment, especially by the governments and in between the both government, public and private institutions towards to contributing, attaining the SDGs throughout the society and on the global level. Just for my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. I consider it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for feedback, Ms. Unver. And if anybody else has any at this moment, I want to take some reflection. So just kind of, easy moment right now. So just like you're reflecting overall, and before we're closing, if anybody want to say a few words in the closing, or critics or feedbacks, we appreciate. Dr. La Vega? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much again.
I was gonna call your name. I was gonna call your name anyway.
Yeah, I think that these sort of activities, of events, are very important in order to show the great contribution of TAG for around the world and in different domains. From my point of view, it's very important to show that at the academic level, we can consider traditional sports and games as novel activities, as activities that are at the same level that, for instance, top sports. It's necessary to introduce this sort of knowledge in the university level with academics and to promote researches in order to use more than just words. we need to demonstrate the real contribution of TAG through researches, through scientific evidences. And we are able to do that and to show that we are talking about some activities that are very important for our current society. We are not just considering ancient activities. We are considering the values that they come back from many centuries ago, and now they bring us some very, very important values for the needs of our current society. And I think that it's very important to highlight these sort of messages, considering these activities like this event, this online conference. So congratulations, and I would like to share this and to do that. It's very important to keep in touch.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Professor, can I add a few words to Professor Pirola Vega? You see, we have to include traditional sports and games into the physical education programs at schools, at universities, everywhere. It'll be a very good thing. We are doing it in our country now. Thank you.
And some countries, I know they started implementing the like in a pedagogical way, especially, I believe that it's very important to like educate future physical education teacher in higher education. Like, once we have educated physical education teacher with the knowledge of traditional sports and game, and then everything else is going to be a lot easier when it comes to implementing in the K through 12 or like elementary, middle school, and high school. So absolutely. And I know some countries like here in Russia, in Central Asia, some countries, they use traditional sport often. But yeah, like it doesn't have to be like all over the place, but try to keep it as original and keep it in the local settings. And we're not trying to globalize this traditional sport. That's not the whole purpose, right? So we have to just try to maintain the originality of the traditional sports and maintain and protect within the original places and local places. So if anybody has anything else to add on,
I want to add a few words only. You see, in our country, in Russia, all physical education, higher education institutions have these traditional games and sports in their curriculum, in their programs. But at schools, there is no part of the school program devoted to traditional sports and games. And it'll be better if we can do it, if we can accept them. And in our republic, there is a third lesson, 3 physical education lessons per week, and the third one is devoted to traditional sports and games. So it is our project. Thank you very much.
This is definitely like the long-term conversation it might be. So I'm sure Ethno Sports Forum next weekend, they will have some sessions to discuss and about developing some pedagogical ways and to promote the traditional sports and game. So anyway, I want to thank you, really, like every one of you, for taking time and attending these panels during this COVID. And I want to like call Mehmet Türkmens if he has a few closing words. Hocam kapatıyoruz. Bir iki kelime söylemek isterseniz. Sesinizi açın hocam önce. Hocam mikrofonun kapalı.
Sorry. Ben Türkçe konuşayım istersen.
Sen söyle, ben söylerim sana hocam.
Kısa bir mesaj vereyim. Benim pratiğim zayıftır biliyorsun biraz.
Sen Türkçe söyle, ben söylerim hocam.
Ben bütün katılımcılara teşekkür ediyorum. Bu LAVGE bizi hiçbir sempozyumda bırakmıyor, yalnız bırakmıyor. Sempozyum, kongre olsun, ondan sonra böyle panel olsun, forum olsun. Ona ayrıca teşekkür ediyorum. Yine bizim Hicran Hanım'a çok teşekkür ediyorum. Ona mesaj attım. O da bize şey vermiş. İnşallah onunla bir organizasyonda buluşacağız burada. Adem.
Tamam.
Genero'ya çok selam ediyorum. Ayrıca Genero şu anda yok herhalde.
Yok.
Evet.
He said that thank you all of you. He said thank you all of you, especially Dr. La Vega. Thank you very much, Dr. La Vega, for joining us in every panels or symposiums, and it's so nice to collaborate, and it's so honored to have you in our network. Thank you.
Ayrıca bizim rektörün sana da teşekkürü var. Onun bir toplantısı vardı elçilikte, oraya geçti. Yine bizim Kadir Han Özdemir'e, Onur Can'a çok teşekkür ediyorum. Güzel bildiri sundular. Sağ olsunlar. Onur, o konuda bazı Osmanlıca kaynaklar var. Sana yardımcı olabilirim. Ben sizden kaynak esirgemiyorum biliyorsun.
Onur benim asistanım hocam. Ayvansaray'da benim asistanım hocam.
Kadir Han'a söylüyorum. Pardon, Kadir Han'a söylüyorum.
Yorum çalışmalarınızda hocam çok teşekkür ederim. Çok sağ olun.
Onur'a da yardım ederiz hocam. Okçulukla ilgili çalışıyor.
Ben de orada da akşam oldu mu bilmiyorum ama burada saat şu anda 00:43. Sizler eğer günüzse iyi günler diliyorum. Akşamsa iyi akşamlar diliyorum. Herkese tekrar teşekkür ediyorum. O kadar. Tüm katılımcılara.
Yes, he said thank you all of you again for joining. So that will conclude our panels, and we hope to see you in the future for our next event. We're planning to, by the way, we're planning to have another panels about equestrian sports in the world. That panel is going to take place sometime toward the end of May. If you are interested in that equestrian sports in the world and specific traditional equestrian sports, if you have, we invite you to join us. And at the end of that panel, we're planning to publish a book. So it's going to be a book. It's a very serious professional publication we're planning to do after the panels. And of course, you just first present at the panels if your topics is well structured and fundamentally sound very well. And we invite you to take part in the book writing chair. So under our research center. So thank you all of you for joining again, and we'll hope to see you in the future. Okay, take care.